Yahweh Shema Shah. Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
And when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of God should come, he answered them and said, The kingdom of God cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, Lo here, or Lo there, or behold, the kingdom of God is within you.
The tabernacle of the Most High, the kingdom, tabernacle of the Most High is with men. Because the tabernacle of the Most High, that's like the temple of the Most High. That's the kingdom, right? It's with men, so that means we got the knowledge. So we already have the tabernacle of the Most High. We already got the kingdom. We already have it. Spiritually, we have it. But the physical part is going to come. The physical manifestation of it is going to come soon.
Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord.
The kingdom of the Most High is within you. So you brothers, the ones of y'all, you sincere brothers, y'all heard what the scripture said, the kingdom of the Most High is within you. So we already got the kingdom. So the kingdom, it was given to us back in Matthew 25, when Yahweh Shai came. The knowledge, this truth. That's why this knowledge is nothing to play with. Here it is, the Lord then blessed you with the kingdom already. It's within you.
Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
To the glory of our golden age, may it shine forever.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Dash, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing and salutation to the Hope Lake out there pushing this word of truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem. Dash pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, what I want to get into with this lesson, all right, is going into this is how the elites want the masses to think. Okay, and this is a video from the brother Yaquab, all right, his channel, the Hopeful Elect 3. Okay, and we had this Edomite, and he's on there speaking on how there is no God, and you know, the elites are gods, you know, there's no one up there in the heavens and this and that. But you're going to listen to it, okay? But the point is, this is how the elites want people to think. You know, the elites want the masses to be dismissive of the Most High, okay? And to think that a power and authority stops with them. You know, they want people to think that power and authority in existence starts and stops with them. And that's why in this technocracy, you know, he wants to take everything digital, which will give him more control, which would make him seem even more godlike. Okay? With the AI, with the surveillance, with the programmable money, you know, with these different things. Okay, it will make him even seem more godlike. Okay? Well, we have to understand Esau is a fraud, man. Okay, and the power was given to Esau was given to him by our power. Now the Lord has given him authority to do particular things and to even go above and beyond any other heathen. Okay, in any time. Okay, the devil, you know, he's been able to go into the left hand, you know, with the enchantments, with witchcraft. Okay, you know, the music, the media, the MK Ultra. You see, he's been able to tamper with the weather, you know, with the harp systems and, okay, channel demons and particular things. So he's has authority on the left-hand side, but we understand it's still all limited, and he's no power of himself. Okay, and he's not even in the same, all right, conversation with the Most High. Okay, he's nowhere near. He's nowhere near Yahweh. You see? But he gets off, okay, on getting praised as a God in the earth. Now, when you go into the scriptures, okay, let's get this in 2 Thessalonians 2. You know, because this devil's number one ambition is to be the Most High. That's the number one ambition of Esau. Okay? That's why we see every agenda, all right, is being made on the global stage, is pushing away the technocracy for his ambition to be the Most High. So this 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3 said, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. You know, so we will have to fall away as a people, you know, before the end. You see, because as you know, the Apostle Paul is writing his letter, you know, to Israelite foreigners, all right, in Thessalonica. Okay, he's letting them know that there has to be a falling away, another falling away. Okay, in which we fell away 70 AD. You know, we ran out of, you know, of Judea. Okay, and eventually, all right, we was ran off into, you know, different parts of, you know, Africa, mainly northern, western Africa. Okay, Christianity got watered down, you know, so the truth that fell away from the earth, you know, by the time you get to Constantine and, you know, the Council of Nicaea, you know, the gospel had become watered down. Okay, and then eventually we will go into captivity, you know, during the Renaissance period. Okay, and whatever piece of, you know, heritage we had was beaten out of us. Okay, as a people. Okay, you get to this point where we at now. All right, well, when you get to the point of chattel slavery, I say that, you know, because now there's a remnant that has been raised up in these last days, you know, that has come back. You see, but when you go from the slavery, okay, during the beginning of the Renaissance, you know, the chattel slavery, you know, we completely forgot who we were as a people. Okay, the northern tribes, you know, them being conquered, you know, by conquistadors and, you know, the Spanish. Okay, they was turned out, all right, by the Spanish and conquered and given, you know, Roman Catholicism. Okay, the Southern Kingdom was given, you know, the main Baptist Christianity, plantation Christianity. Okay, which had nothing to do with the truth of the Bible, you know, and that was us falling away. But as the prophecy says, that 350 years, or 3 days and a half, the spirit of life will come into him. Okay, and it goes from 1619 to 1969. All right, when Elder Abba Bivens began to go into who? Yahweh. There was a spirit of life coming back into these dry bones. Okay, so we had them falling away. Okay, and we by through the teaching of His word, it says, and that the man of sin be revealed. And see, that's happened because part of us, you know, coming back to who we are. Well, it would be the prophets who began to expose the man of sin as Esau Edom. Okay, the prophets were the forerunners of exposing the man of sin, Esau Edom, the rulers of this world. Okay, he said the son of perdition. Okay, he's a son of destruction, man. Okay, Esau is a nation of people where their end is destruction. You see? All this wickedness they've done, you know, all this power they've obtained within to destruction. You see? Verse 4 said, who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped so that he is the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. And this is the devil's ambition, man. This is his top ambition in the earth, is to be the Most High. He wants to sit in the seat, which means he wants, all right, okay? He wants to mimic the Holy Spirit by putting a technology in you and control you from the inside. He wants to mimic the Most High on every level. Okay? This is what Esau Edom is on. You know, he wants to control food production. Okay? He wants to be able to know everyone's movements, their whereabouts. He wants to know their thoughts. See, he wants to search out the hearts like the Most High does that. That's way above your pay grade, man. And this technology can't mimic the Most High. Okay? It can do things. It's capable of doing a lot, but mimicking the Most High, absolutely not. Okay? But this is the man of sin revealed, and this is what he will be on within his rulership. This will be at the forefront of his agenda of his rulership, is try to be the Most High, man, to be omnipotent, all powerful, omnipresent, everywhere at the same time. Okay, all knowing. This is the quest Esau is on. Okay, and he wants people to look at him in that way as a God. Okay, now even when the scriptures say, which we know, this is 2 Corinthians 4:3. It says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. Okay, because as we preach this word, there's only a remnant that's going to receive it. 2/3 of our people are lost, and they have given over to the power of darkness, who controls the darkness of this world, Esau, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. Okay, and our people reject this word, because the Most High has given them over to believe, all right, Esau Edom, the enchantments of Esau Edom, which when you go into the God of this world, all right, which this man, all right, the Lord has granted this man a lot of capability as a ruler. Okay, I say through his witchcraft and technology. All right, but when you go into his word, the gods, let me see what we get. All right, so you go into this word theos in the Greek. All right, theos. Okay. Now we know that you got these false gods, which are really nothing but demons. These statues, all right, or these different false gods and goddesses that these heathens worship. Okay, the spirit behind those idols, all right, was demons. Okay, on the left hand. Okay, now when you go here, because it speaks of God, a god or goddess, a general name of deities and divinities. Okay, but then when you go here, it says of magistrates, okay, and judges. Okay, so Esau, they're the kings and judges of this world. Okay, so the guys of this world, which means they control, the media, they control, the money. Okay, they control governments, education, okay, food, you see, entertainment. All right, they control so much that they can, produce a false reality. Most people believe in a false reality, and most people's worldview is based on a false reality fed to them by the rulers of this world. Okay, they able to enchant people with music. Okay, he's all into the the chemistry, the psychology of men. He knows how certain medicines affect your body. His drug industry. Okay, that certain medicines affect the body, affect the psyche. Plus mixed with the music. And I say that he can tamper with the weather, so he has ability. He has influence like no other heathen has, but he's still a mere man. Okay, he's not a God in the sense, okay, that he has power within himself. No, he's a mere man that has been given the power, and he's been deceived that he's a God. All right, that he's some type of deity, a divinity in the earth, man. Okay, when he's just a man. That's why when you go here to Isaiah 31, all right, it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 31 and 1. And this is why, a lot of people look to Esau in crisis, because they look at him as a God. A lot of people when crisis happen, things happen, they look at, the first instinct is to look at Esau. Because they have bought into this man being a God. They trust this man with their life. You see how many people, took the juice. And when people that got the juice, it was just, they thought I remember Jake going to get the juice and coming back to work like they was immortal. Jake when he got the juice and came back to work like they couldn't die. You see, like they had just received immortality shot, man. Okay, because they admire Esau as a God. Okay, when you go to Isaiah 31 and 1, it says, woe to them, they go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Ahoshai. And you look at his military and how he's been able to bully, and his economy, all the wealth, that these Edomites have, man. Okay, where they parade themselves around the earth doing what they want. You look at it like, okay, the military just for a while, which we know things are changing now. But for the longest, the military just been able to go do what it want. All right, the devils been able to enrich themselves. Okay, and then you look at them, well, ain't nobody judging these niggas. It's like these niggas are gods, man. Ain't nobody intervening. And this man is doing all this wickedness, he's a God. You see? And that's how they want the masses to think. Okay? Verse 2, it says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil, and it's the Most High, and will not call back his words, because he's going to bring evil, okay, to the earth, man. And we're going to see that Esau is not no exceptional nigga, man. Okay? We're going to see that he's a mere man. That's one thing that the Most High is finna show the masses. Esau is regular as hell, man. And the Lord finna show that. He was given power. Okay, and we see the Lord taking that power back, and Esau out here looking regular, tacky, foolish. Okay. And it says, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work, all right, iniquity. So the Lord is getting ready to rise up against the evildoers, man. And we're going to see the difference between a God, okay, a false God and the real God. We're going to see the difference between a fraud and the real deal, man. And this nigga Esau is a fraud, man. It says, now the Egyptians are men and not God. Their horses are flesh and not spirit. Yeah, he's limited, man. Okay? Well, Esau is the modern day Egyptians. Okay? These elites are likened into Pharaoh. That pride, that God complex, man. Pharaoh had a major God complex, man. But those plagues showed Pharaoh that he was regular as hell, man. When the Most High brought those plagues on Pharaoh, he seen he was regular as hell, man. Vulnerable as hell, man. You see, Esau has went so long without feeling vulnerable, man, that he believes in this God complex, hype. Okay? And it says, and their horses flesh and not spirit. Yeah, we see that his military is limited. No matter how many trillions of dollars they spend, guess what? It's limited, man. He's catching hell with smaller, all right, less finance militaries, man. Okay, and the Lord's gonna allow Esau to be embarrassed on his way out, man. Esau not going out with no glory, man. It's gonna be an embarrassing fall of Esau Edom, man, for trying to play the Most High, man. There's a punishment for that, and there's a great embarrassment for that as well. It said, when the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together, man. So this nigga and everyone that believes in this nigga's hype is gonna fall together, man. Okay? They're gonna fail together. You see? From the elites to a simple nigga cheering on the elites, like a nigga like Anton Daniels. To Anton Daniels, Esau is a god. Okay, this nigga's man, the Tesla truck, man. If you've never been in the Tesla truck and you activated the driverless, and you go from one place to another in the back seat, just you and such and such, man, there's nothing like it. That nigga, man, to him, okay, Esau is a god to niggas like that, man. Okay, well, nah, man, as we've been in life, man, we know the real, man. Nah, this nigga's a fraud, man. So let's go here, because I say this is how the elites want the masses to think, because this plays in their favor. When people think that they are more powerful than what they are. Now, there are people that don't understand how much influence this man has, okay? But then there are people that look at this man, all right, beyond what he really is, okay? So let's go here. Yep.
Anyone else starting to not believe in God, in the universe, whatever the fuck you want to call it? It's just like, I'm slowly not believing anymore. I really, really am. I'm done believing this divine timing bullshit. You know what all reality is? You know who our gods really are? Is the government and the elites. If you really think about it, they're the ones controlling everything. So it makes like, oh, God's doing this or the universe is doing this. It's all fake. It's all fake. People who became rich off of stocks, whatever, that's them doing that. That's them doing that. We live in a world of zero empathy. We live in a world of everyone's nervous system is trash. If there were really a God, things would change by now. Me, I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of starting stuff. I'm just sick of it all. I'm sick of starting stuff just to have it go to shit. That's what I'm sick of. And that's why God. Fuck you. You're a piece of shit. Fuck the universe. Fuck my spirit guides. Fuck them all. Because I'm sick of things not going my way. Sick of fucking motherfuckers getting their way. When I'm putting the same amount of effort in, it goes to shit. These motherfuckers get everything they want. Why? Because they're fucking evil motherfuckers. You have to be evil. Now, I think maybe I should start being evil. More evil than ever. I should just become evil. Because fuck God, fuck the universe. I'd rather sell my soul to the elites at this point. Because I'm sick of it. I'd rather sell out. If there was actual God, these things wouldn't happen out here, man. The elites in the government are the gods in the universe. They're the ones creating everything, so it makes it look like, oh, it's divine timing, blah, blah, blah. It's not. None of it's real. They're the ones controlling the universe. God, making it look like God's doing everything. They're the ones creating it. Universe God is not real. Spirit guides aren't real. It's all bullshit in reality.
Yeah, he's just a loser Edomite that has given up on life. Okay, and it's good to see you Edomites in this spirit. But this is how the elites want the masses to think. To completely, disengage from the belief of a higher power and look at them as being in full control. Okay, but we know better. All right, but this is just, a loser Edomite. Okay, he's a two-time loser. Okay, he's losing. He's lost in his own kingdom, and he's losing. He's going to lose in the kingdom to come. He's going to be melted here with the destruction. Okay, he's going to be born into captivity over and over again. So this is a loser Edomite, two-time loser. Okay, he lost in his own kingdom. He's bitter. Okay, and that's the spirit of Esau to cuss out the Most High. And see, the elites are in this spirit too, but see, they have the power to really kick up some dust behind, that. See, remember, Esau bitter. He wept bitterly when he lost the blessing. Okay, so that's the spirit of an Edomite. When he's a loser, to weep bitterly. Okay, but the elites, they have, this money and resources. The Lord has given them money and resources to really attempt a rebellion, to really rebel against the Most High, to really be destructive against the creation, okay, and to try to undermine the Most High with technology. All right, but this nigga, he's expressing how the elites feel. They just have the resources, okay, to attempt to do something. So let's go. Let's get some precepts, man. Okay, a loser, man. Okay, and it's good. You Edomites, there's gonna be more you Edomites losing. Okay, in the days to come. So when you go into 2 Corinthians 2 and 14, it says, "But the natural man." Okay, and by default, all you heathens, you heathens don't have the ability to be spiritual. Like on the right hand side. Okay, so by default, all you heathens and 2/3 they're natural men. Okay, but the natural man receiving not the things of the spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Okay, so it's foolishness. The concept of a higher power is foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned, and he doesn't have the spiritual discernment, okay, to understand, all right, the things of the spirit. Okay, the Esau has been propped up in power. These elites, okay, understand how the Lord are raised up, okay, Esau, Edom, and the elites of Esau, all right, to run the earth in wickedness, man, until that time when judgment. You see, he kept saying, "I'm tired of waiting." Nigga, you tired of losing. Okay, your life is trash. Okay, the Most High not on your timing. Okay, the Most High don't care about because your life is trash and you're a loser. Okay, the Most High supposed to move on your behalf. Okay, because you're a loser in life, nigga. Okay, it said, but people who aren't spiritual, this is the NLT, 2 Corinthians 2 and 14, but people who aren't spiritual can't receive these truths from the Most High Spirit. It all sounds foolish to them, and they can't understand it, for only those who are spiritual can understand what the Spirit means. Okay, so this Edomite, he can't understand the concept of a high power. Okay, and that the elites have been raised up in power. You see, this is what you Edomites can't understand. Okay, you're a natural man. You simple Edomites, man. Okay, but we fully understand there's a power way above Esau, man. Esau is really low level. Okay, with the Most High, and see, this is why, as the Most High stripped this man from power, man, Esau, that base man is starting to show. I can see it, man. I can see this nigga base as hell, man. Without the Most High propping this nigga up in power, Esau base as hell, man. Okay, this is a Psalm of David 14:1. It said, the fool have said in his heart, there is no power. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that do it good. Yeah, so the fool, the goddamn fool, has said in his mind, there is no power. There is no God. Okay? And see, the Lord, that's why the Lord's going to show himself. Okay? As Yahweh Shai. Okay? The Lord's, how is the Lord known? Let's get this first. Let's get John 12. Okay? St. John 12 and 26. Well, 20, I started 28. Yep. It says, Father, glorify thy name. This is Yahweh Shai speaking and praying to the Father. Then came there a voice from heaven saying, I have both glorified it and will glorify it again. See, the Lord is going to glorify his name again. He did it in the ancient Egypt. He shook the world of what he did in Egypt. And he brought great fear upon the world, all right, according to his name. And he's going to bring that same fear again. You see? So the Lord brought fear to his name, what he did to ancient Egypt, though the heathens knew. Okay, that's why Rahab the harlot, she was willing to hide, those Israelite spies because she knew that the Lord had already, they knew, all right, if the Lord wouldn't, we through. Because they had heard of, the judgments of our power back then. Because how is the Lord known? And that's how he's going to introduce himself to this age through judgment, man. Okay, he's going to introduce himself, all right, to this current age, especially here in America, through judgment. Psalms 9-16, the Lord is known by the judgment which he executed. You see, the Lord's going to make you know him through judgment. Okay? You impressed with the leaks and, the predictions from the Simpsons and you see? And, these things that he's able to do, you wait till the Lord show you what true power is. The Lord is going to be known by judgment, global judgment in the earth, man. It said the wicked, Esau, Edom is snared in the work of his own hands. Yeah, because Esau is doing nothing but provoking the Lord to anger. Okay, which is provoking a great judgment in the earth, man. Okay, and the Lord is going to show Esau that he's just a man. Okay, that's why you get to the book of Ezekiel. All right, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28. Okay, Ezekiel 28:3. It says, behold, thou art wiser than they. And when you read this, Daniel was extremely wise. Okay, because the Lord had the scripture going to it was an extraordinary spirit on Daniel. Okay, to be extremely wise, especially in the matters of judgment. Okay, he knew how to interpret dreams. Okay, the Lord made him very skillful. You see, but Esau, in this time, he has all this wisdom, through technology. And see, this Daniel was one man. Okay, so it takes this nigga all these data centers and devices and satellites and all these things, just to boast to be wiser than Daniel, man. Okay, so he has, the ability, this man has far-reaching ability. Okay, but when it comes to him trying to put himself on a level with the Most High, like I say, he has a lot of ability within this realm on a carnal level. Okay, he's on a high level in carnality. You see the things that he's able to do, militarily, the way he's able to spy out, okay, surveillance, and his satellite systems, and know this and know that, his intelligence, community, Okay, so he has a lot of reach. It said, "There's no secret they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, that has gotten thee riches and has gotten gold and silver into thy treasures, man." Because this whole economic system is a big scam that this man has set up to enrich himself, man, through left hand cunning. Okay, this man has been able to enrich himself, all right, through left hand wickedness, man. Okay, and cunning schemes, okay, through the economy. You know, the economy is one big scheme. You know, this man makes it overcomplicated, okay, to when figure out the scheme. You see, it says, "By thy great wisdom and by traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches," man. Yeah, because this man has been able to enrich himself. Okay, this man has been, and through these riches, he has gotten what? Power. Okay, and within this power, you know, he's been able to tap into things, man. Okay, to where the Most High won't Esau deceive like he's a god. He wants Esau on this type of time. He wants this devil proud. Okay, he wants this devil think, all right, that he has a chance to pull this off. Okay, just so Yahweh Shai can come through with that judgment, man. Ezekiel 28:6. "Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations." Yeah. So here it is. This man is lifted up. Okay, but even, you know, nations within his own kingdom is going to war against him, man. Okay, and they shall draw their swords against all this splendor, you know, all this hype and praise that this nigga gets in the earth, man. The Lord is finna start embarrassing this nigga, man. He's finna be defiled, man. He's gonna be looked at as, man, this nigga gonna be looked at as a fraud that he is, man. Okay. Verse 8 says, "They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of in the seas." And that's a dishonorable death, man. To die at sea, you know, not to have a proper burial. And most of the time you would die at sea, they would just have to throw you over the boat, man. Okay, a very dishonorable death. Okay, and that's what the Lord is going to do to Esau, man. The death of Esau empire is going to be a very dishonorable death, man. Shameful death. Okay, to show the world that this nigga is not no God. Verse 9, "Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am a God?" Okay, so here it is, a nigga can die. Was you a God? Okay, you can die. Okay, if you stop breathing just like anyone else, you're done. Okay, you're subject to heart attacks. You know, the Edomites be having heart attacks. That's why we having these heart transplants. And yeah, man, these niggas fragile as hell. These elites get old, get fragile as hell, man. Okay, he said, "But thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee," man. And it's just gonna be light work, you know, with the Lord allowing these other nations to get at Esau. Okay, you wait till Yahweh Shai get in the mix, man. You see, when Yahweh Shai hit the scene. Matter of fact, let's get that in Revelation, and we can end it here. All right, this is Revelation chapter 6. All right, and this is Revelation 6:13. It says, "And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as the fig tree casted her untimely figs." Okay, and it's these missiles, you know, because these missiles are gonna look like stars falling to the earth. You know, in their trajectory, they're gonna be coming straight down. You know, like an untimely fig, like figs falling from a tree. When she is shaken of a mighty wind, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, that mushroom cloud, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Yeah, the earth is going to shake. Okay, so the earth is going to rail to and fro like a drunkard. You know, these missiles hitting this place, man. It says that the super rich, all right, rich men, okay. So you have the elites, okay, certain leaders, certain of the super rich, okay. It says, and the chief captains and the mighty men, certain military personnel, and every bondman and every freeman, certain essential workers. They're gonna have servants and slaves in these underground cities. All right, this is what you call a contingency plan. It said hid themselves in the dens and then the rocks of the mountains. Okay, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Okay, so wait a minute. If he's a guy, why is he hiding? The guys hide. When do guys hide? Hiding in the mountain. If he's so goddamn powerful and tough, man. Okay, and it says, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. Okay, Yahushua gonna have these niggas hiding. Okay, when they see Yahushua come through with true power, they gonna know, damn. You see, these elites gonna know what they gonna see true power in that day, man. Okay, enchant people with rap music and MK Ultra and tampering with the the weather and no, man, you're gonna see true power, man. Okay, this little BS you doing, no, you finna see true power when you see Yahushua, the wrath of the Lamb, when you see him come through and turn the militaries of the earth to powder in minutes. When he turned the militaries of the earth to powder in minutes, they gonna see true power, man. Okay, it said, and for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able? All right, because Yahushua is coming with true power to judge the earth, man. Okay, so yeah, man, just want to get into that, man. Listen to the brother video, listen to this loser, okay, Edomite, okay, speak about, he spoke boldly, he gonna have to hold up for that, man. Okay, of the power, okay, it'll be how about Shema Shai. So that's the point. Just want to get into that, Lord will, you brothers and you sisters.